वेलकम बैक ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਰੋਡ ਟੂਡੇ 360 ਰੋਡ ਟੂਡੇ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਦੀ ਐਕਸਕਲੂਸਿਵ ਪੇਸ਼ਕਸ਼ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਟੈਲੀਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ। ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡਾ ਫੋਕਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਟਰੱਕਿੰਗ, ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟੇਸ਼ਨ, ਟ੍ਰੈਫਿਕ ਔਰ ਰੋਡ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਣ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਖਾਸ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਵੇਟ ਮੋਟਰ ਟਰੱਕ ਕਾਉਂਸਿਲ ਆਫ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟ ਮਾਈਕ ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਏ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਮਾਈਕ, ਵੈਲਕਮ ਵਨਸ ਅਗੇਨ।
Thank you.
It was an exciting, note to know your journey, how you have transformed yourself in the trucking industry, starting with the driver, and now you are leading the PMTC. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I wanted to move ahead and also talk about some of the relevant and major issues impacting the state of industry,
Okay.
especially trucking and transportation. So, what do you think are the major focus areas this year, 2017?
Well, I think the main one that we've been working on for the last year and a half and is coming up on July 1st of 2017, where it's going to be implemented, is mandatory entry-level training in the province of Ontario.
Right.
We were heavily involved in that stakeholder consultation process with the Ministry of Transportation of Ontario.
Okay.
And continue to be, as there's still a few finer details that they're still trying to iron out.
Okay.
But there was over 30 consultation meetings that us, the TTSAO, OTA,
Right.
Durham community colleges, etc., were part of that consultation process with the ministry. Over 30 face-to-face meetings that took place over about a year span.
Very, very good. I know major changes like these, they don't happen overnight. It needs a lot of strategic discussions, policy formulation, planning. So do you think this mandatory entry-level training MELT program being effective July 1st this year is going to make a big difference in the driver shortage? Because Conference Board of Canada says by 2020, the driver shortage is going to hit more than 33,000 here in Canada.
Driver shortage is a separate topic that I'll touch on if you want my opinion on that one.
Sure.
It differs a little bit from what other people's opinions in the industry are.
Okay.
I truly don't believe we have a driver shortage at this point in time.
Oh, really? Okay.
There is one coming. There's no doubt in my mind there's one coming. All you got to do is look at the demographics, and the drivers get older and older and older every year.
Okay. Yeah.
However, this is something we've been talking about since I started in this industry 26 years ago. It hasn't changed. We continue to talk about driver shortage, and it's just on the horizon. The question is, do we have a driver shortage, or do we have too many trucks on the road for the freight that there is to move?
Okay.
I go on the latter. We have too many trucks on the road for the freight that we need to move.
Okay, but don't you see a shortage of professional drivers,
There's a shortage of qualified drivers.
Qualified drivers.
Okay, there's not a shortage of drivers.
Right.
There's a shortage of qualified drivers. However, everybody's said for years and years and years, the rates are too low.
Okay.
We don't get paid enough for what we do.
Right.
Okay, and I agree with that. Okay, what keeps rates down?
Is it due to unhealthy competition?
Rates are kept down because of supply and demand.
Okay.
There's too much supply and there's not enough demand.
Right.
It's simple theory. If there's 5 trucks bidding on one load, okay, the shipper is going to price shop.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If there's 5 loads being bid on by 2 trucks,
Right.
okay, it's a supply and demand. There's too many trucks bidding on the same freight that are undercutting each other and keeping the rates down.
So do you?
If you have more loads than you have trucks to move it, when the rates go up,
Right.
and the rates aren't where people think they need to be, it's because there's too many trucks out there to move it.
Okay. So having said that, do you think this MELT program is going to add some qualified drivers out in the market?
I think it'll help. The biggest issue that the trucking industry has had for years is a perception issue.
Okay.
It's perceived as low-skilled, job of last resort. It's not even considered a skilled trade by the province or the country.
Which is very unfortunate. Those steps are being made to make that, anomaly.
Lots of people in the industry have been voicing that opinion for years that it needs to be a skilled trade.
Yeah.
Right? Not to denigrate anybody, because everybody does a great job. A hairdresser is considered a skilled trade.
Yeah.
There is some skill to it. You don't want me cutting your hair.
Yeah.
Okay? But they're a skilled trade. And driving a possible 140,000-pound vehicle over the mountains with a load of gasoline on isn't a skilled trade.
Yeah.
I think we got a bit of a disconnect here.
Absolutely, there is a disconnect, but there was also talks and there was a release of a national occupational standard, for truck driver.
Yep, Trucking HR Canada released a new NOC code, which we were part of the consultation process for that.
Yeah.
And it defined the basics of what a driver needs. And
Yes.
that helped form part of what formed the mandatory entry-level training as well.
Okay.
I do believe mandatory entry-level training is going to help.
Okay.
Province of Ontario, to their credit, wanted mandatory entry-level training put in place, said it was going to get done, involved lots of consultation. Their team was great. They listened to industry. They made changes as we went along. We started out with 4 consultation meetings and expanded it to
30.
the 30 that it ended up at because they realized it wasn't enough time. Okay, I believe mandatory entry-level training is a step, a step in the direction of getting this classified as a skilled trade.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. Talking about driver shortage, that is definitely one issue which is being faced by the industry. There are so many other elements like ELDs, electronic log devices, especially in 2017 by December, it will be mandatory in the states, right?
Yes.
So do you think Canada is also ready for those changes?
Yes. Consultation process have already gone on with Transport Canada,
Okay.
CCMTA. They've had their stakeholder questionnaire already went out to the
Okay.
industry. We were part of the consultation process on that.
Right.
They are currently preparing the first draft based on a comment period that they put out there. They're preparing a draft to put in the Canada Gazette.
Okay.
They hope to have that by this late this winter, early this spring. They hope to
Okay.
have it posted in Canada Gazette Part 1.
Okay.
That will then open up a comment period for anybody who wants to comment on it. Probably a 60 to 90-day comment process.
Right.
Once that comment process is done, then they will go back, look at the legislation, make any changes that they feel they need to make out of the comment process, finalize the regs, and then post it in Canada Gazette Part 2.
Okay.
They hope to do that. They're saying late spring, early summer of 2017. I think more realistically, you're probably looking at the fall of 2017.
Right.
And then you have to put a grandfather or phase-in period in. We're pushing for a 2-year phase-in.
Okay.
So then you're looking at the fall of 2019.
Okay, I see.
Okay, now it could be the fall of 2018. They may go with a 1-year phase-in. But I think realistically, if you expect everybody who has a truck to get ELDs installed, you have to give them more than a year to do it.
Absolutely. That makes it fair, fair period.
Yeah.
Now, my next another thing is, since you have been a driver yourself and you have also trained drivers, we are in winter. In winter, the situation, the weather conditions are quite adverse, especially people using roads. And if you talk about commercial vehicles, they have more, responsibility and more challenges to face.
Yep.
So, as a professional driver, what is your experience? What message would you like to spread to be safe out while driving in the winter?
Well, I mean, most of it just boils down to the old common rules of the road defensive driving, right?
Yeah.
Slow down.
Right.
Take your time.
Right.
Pay attention.
Absolutely.
Right.
Those are major things.
Well, and by pay attention, watch your mirrors, watch in front. You have to know what an out's going to be in case something happens in front of you. Leave yourself more space. I mean, drivers know trucks don't stop as quick as cars.
Yeah.
Drivers also know cars don't necessarily always give the trucks the space and respect that they deserve.
Yeah, which is again very unfortunate.
Yeah, but you got to pay attention to what you're doing, eliminate distractions, and slow down. And it all starts with a good pre-trip in the morning too. Make sure your tires are good, your windshield wipers are good, your washer fluid's topped up, your vehicle's ready to go, because it's going to cause as many or more problems than your driving's going to if you don't look after it.
Well, that's coming from a professional, hardcore professional, Mike Millian, who is the president of PMTC. You mentioned distracted, don't be distracted. Distraction is becoming one of those 4 major causes of road fatalities and
Yes.
collisions. Do you see, this thing getting curbed or getting reduced? Because we all want to be multitasking.
Yeah, it's a tough nut to crack. The awareness campaigns they're putting out there. I mean, I listened to, and forgive me for getting his name, but an officer speak at a seminar recently.
Gary Schmidt.
And he said that among young kids, drinking and driving isn't an issue anymore.
Yeah.
Distracted driving has taken over drinking and driving.
Yeah.
The awareness campaign over years and years and years seems to have got the message apart for the most part on drinking and driving.
Right.
The new one is the distracted driving.
Driving, exactly.
And I think it's just going to take, unfortunately, years of pounding it into people's head and awareness campaigns and fines and enforcement to get it out there. It's become too much of an extension of our arms almost in our life. And walk down the street, how many people are walking and texting? And then unfortunately, it's the same thing driving.
Exactly. You know, the message which we always tend to spread from this platform is that please consider driving as a full-time job. You know, don't get involved in any distraction while whether you're speaking to your co-passenger or involved in a cell phone talk or texting or changing your, you know, music systems. Please focus on driving, and whether you are a driver or a pedestrian, like Mike said, you know, even if you're crossing sidewalks, crosswalks, be focused on where you are, because these fatalities, these collisions, these are causing a lot of agony in our society, and we really need to put a full stop to that. Moving ahead, tolls are coming. You know, whether you talk about high occupancy tolls, you know, which the province of Ontario is implementing in stages, they're doing in pilot projects, or you talk about John Tory's plan as the mayor of Toronto, he wants to put forward tolls on Queenie and DVP. What's your take?
Our position on the tolls specifically in the GTA is that tolls, if they're going to be applied, should only be applied to new infrastructure. They should not be applied to existing infrastructure that our taxes are already supposed to have paid for.
Okay, so you mean new hot lanes are good, but not the...
I don't necessarily agree with tolls on a new hot lane.
Okay.
Unless you're going to give every vehicle access to that hot lane, including commercial motor vehicles, to have the access to use it.
Right.
Hot lanes, I'm going to guess, are just going to be available to passenger cars, right? So it doesn't even give the truck the option of getting on it.
True.
But on the bigger picture, tolls should only be applied to new infrastructure. Our taxes we're supposed to pay for the DVP, the Don Valley. And the bigger issue with trucks, we don't have a choice.
Yes.
Okay, the trucks aren't going to downtown Toronto because they want to.
Yes.
They prefer to avoid it with everything they have.
Yeah.
They have to go there to get the essential products and services that the people need. They could be medical supplies, they could be products for your stores.
Right.
And you're dinging us for an option we don't have. We can't hop on public transit.
Correct.
We can't put the product on public transit and deliver it to you.
Yeah, it's a very challenging situation, and I do hear your concern and the concern of the larger trucking industry. So we are actually, you know, running short of time, but Mike, really appreciate your presence and your frank talk with our viewers on Road Today 360. We look forward to, you know, welcoming you down the line again, because you have so many events, seminars, conferences lined up at PMTC, and I would encourage our viewers to log on to www.pmtc.ca to have a detailed look at the upcoming events, whether it's a golf tournament or a conference or a seminar. You will definitely be excited to see what kind of information PMTC is providing. So this winds up our time at Road Today 360. I would encourage our viewers to pick up the latest copy of Road Today magazine. The January edition is out there. A lot of interesting information. And once again, Mike, thank you for all you do, and wishing you all the very best.
Thanks for having me, Manan.
Thank you. सो आज सीगा साडा अज दा प्रोग्राम अगले हफ्ते नवी मुलाकात नवी जानकारी लेके मैं फिर हाजिर होऊंगा तब तक सानू दे इजाजत और स्टे ट्यून्ड विद पंजाब टेलीविजन सी यू नेक्स्ट वीक